Good day. So week 3, day 1, it is Thursday. We had a holiday weekend, and Monday and Tuesday I went on an interesting quest, a vision quest. So I was challenged by a friend coach of mine to do a 24-hour trek into the wilderness. So hiking through the day, through the night, and through the next day for 24 hours. One of the things that we'll be asking players in the Facing Dragons quest to do are challenging uncomfortable things, because on the other side of discomfort and the problems and challenges that show up in our life are the gifts and the growth that we're looking for. So I took this vision quest on. I went into it thinking it wasn't going to be nearly as hard as it was.
You thought it would be easy, by the way.
Yeah, I planned
24 hours of straight walking through the woods.
I figured I was in pretty good shape, no problem.
Okay.
My main concern at first was encountering bears and cougars and, just walking through the dark and maybe startling a bear. And it was pretty cool. The night before, I had a family member call me over, and this is totally unplanned. He said, "Brodie, come on over here. I want to show you something." And we went to his truck, and he pulled out all these axe heads and spear heads and tools that he had forged. And I was just like, "You want to sell one of those spearheads?" So I ended up fashioning myself a spear to go into the forest with for protection. And it was quite amazing how much of a sense of certainty or safety that gave me. I was concerned that I was going to be afraid quite a bit during this quest, and I don't think I experienced a moment of fear. The real challenge was, the discomfort 3 and 4 hours in of hiking these pretty technical trails.
With no food.
Back into the wilderness, no food for the whole 24 hours. I'd planned on no sleep.
Right after a baseball tournament too, by the way.
Yeah.
You just finished a baseball tournament.
So definitely facing my dragons. One of the things we'll be guiding participants or players on the quest around is, what's their intention? Like, what are they doing this quest for? They'll be setting personal, meaningful goals, but we'll start with this idea of an intention or a focus that you're going to, sort of like a lens that you're going to put on your experience. So for me, my intention for this vision quest was to discover and define who I'm going to be as a man in this next stage of my life. And I'm mentioning this to share with you that we are literally living this quest as we create it, as we design it. We are in it, taking these mini quests. And one of the things that we're noticing, one of the resources or books that's shown up along this quest that Dove, myself, other people are picking up on is called The Alchemist. Phenomenal book or metaphor or story that essentially is a beautiful depiction of life and the patterns of life and happiness, and finding as Paulo Coelho, the author, says, your personal legend.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to mention something about personal legend too.
Yeah.
So for the game, this all has to do with how we're designing the game as well. In that we are getting to the point where we're starting to figure out ways we can begin to get people to uncover their personal legend. And once you're jumping on board with your personal legend, the world conspires, as Paulo says, the world conspires to help you succeed. And that's great to say, but we're experiencing that for real. Like, as we're doing this design process and this project, we're starting to see the universe conspire to help us succeed. We've just found a really good source of funding for the development stage that is potentially there for October, which is amazing. The data collection is going well, and the design is going well. All of this is conspiring to fall into place. And I think a lot of it has to do with the good intentions and the good mindset behind the project. And so I thank you guys for following the videos as well.
Yeah. We, like Dove said, we had a conversation today with a potential funder who's seems to be quite supportive of our project. And just on this idea of unlocking your purpose, for me, I noticed the turning point in the conversation where he actually engaged in our project was when I asked him, what's important to you? And what he said was helping people get to where they want to go. And that was the point where I felt like he really actually engaged. Purpose is super powerful. It is an engagement tool for our lives in finding meaning, in engaging, in finding a reason why to engage with. Life gives us challenges and we'll push them away and push them away. But as soon as we find the purpose of these challenges and the meaning and the potential growth, we're willing to stand in that, those challenges. In my hike on this vision quest, there were points where it was very, very uncomfortable, like literally in the night, swaying back and forth on the trail, falling asleep as I was walking. And you come to this point where you ask yourself, why am I doing this? Like, you're thinking, I'd much rather be at home in bed. It'd be nice to have a nice meal. And it was really cold that night. I hadn't planned on it being so cold. But as soon as I connected to, this is me with both feet on my path in my purpose, the struggle disappeared. And I found myself very present and grateful, literally grateful to be in exactly the experience I was having.
Comfort zone is the last thing I wanted to chat about today, because this all has to do with Brodie going outside his comfort zone. And as well as it has to do with the first quest at the end of the solo quest line. I guess you can call it the last quest at the end of the solo chain is the Gatekeeper. And so this is just a little design talk about what's actually going in the game, is that the Gatekeeper is going to give you the comfort zone quest. The comfort zone quest is where you first identify the things in your life that you used to struggle with or used to seem impossible, but you can now do easily. The next stage of it then expands outward to include the stuff that gives you anxiety or you're fearful of doing, right? And then the next circle outside of the fearful one? Growth. So that is the growth. What would make you grow, essentially?
Yeah, it's where you're growing.
Where you're growing towards.
Yeah.
So the way that we're gamifying this is after we've gotten people to identify from a selection of predefined words, so sort of what they've done before in the past that seemed impossible at the time, then they can start using their previously chosen goal to choose the other ones. And then we're gamifying it in a really cool way, actually. So for as soon as they've set out the things that make them uncomfortable and that are outside of their comfort zone, they're going to be given the competition one. Remember, everything's being gamified in like 3 ways. Competition one is you're given 24-hour countdown to achieve a difficult version of one of those goals. So for example, if your goal was something to do with fitness, your challenge would be rephrased as do 24,000 steps in 24 hours, right? Got to submit your proof that you've done that in 24 hours. So your phone can do a step tracker. Work mission, apply for your long shot job right now. Research your long shot dream job and make a serious application to apply for it. Just do it. Some
people are going to get that job. That's the crazy part.
imagine your first like serious quest after the solo quest and creating your character. You get your dream job. How cool would that be? And even if you don't, that's great, right? Good experience. Social stuff. Getting outside your comfort zone. Ask 5 random people for $5. And then give $5 to 5 different people. I mean, I'd be uncomfortable doing that. I know most people would. And that's a great... so these are ideas about how we're going to start gamifying the comfort zone quest at the end of the solo quest for the Gatekeeper.
With the 24-hour countdown. And you could take on one of these challenges. You could take on all of them.
Yeah, it's a repeatable quest. Every time you beat it, you'll get the treasure chest we talked about that opens. Yeah.
So there you go. That's what we got for today.
Yeah. That's it for
we
now.
Good?
Yeah.
All right. See you tomorrow.
Bye.